This is from a guy, the character in the movie's name is Jefe, Jefe, and he's breaking down. So I'll give you the background. So the counselor, he entered into this drug deal. He just invested in it to earn some extra money. You know, greed basically, right? The drug deal went bad. And so when the drug deal goes bad with these Mexican cartels, they just come out and they kill everybody who might even be connected, right? And so the counselor guy, he doesn't really get it. He's like, but I didn't do anything. I didn't. And the drug cartel guy is trying to explain to him the reality of the situation that he's in. He's trying to help him understand the creation. So some of the stuff he says, actions create consequences, which produce new worlds, and they're all different. And all these worlds, even though unknown to us, must have always been there. At some point, you have to acknowledge the reality of the world that you're in. There is not some other world. This is not a hiatus that you're living in, right? He said, I would urge you to see the truth of the situation you're in. The world where you seek to undo the mistakes you made is different than the world where the mistakes were made. You are now at the crossing, and you now want to choose, but there is no choosing. There is only accepting. The choosing was done long ago. What does that mean? That means the choosing was done before you incarnated. You chose a long time ago. They put the same message in the Matrix, right? When the Oracle told Neo, you're not here to make a choice. You already made the choice. You're here to understand why you made that choice. So the choices are done, okay? And that's what I was trying to tell you all. These roles, these people in your life, the way they're showing up, the way the world's showing up, that was a choice you made before you incarnated, okay? Let's keep going. Reflective men often find themselves at a place removed from the realities of life. We should all prepare a place that will accommodate the tragedies that sooner or later will come into our lives. But this is an economy that few care to practice. Because when it comes to grief, the normal rules of exchange do not apply. Because grief transcends value. A man would give entire nations to lift grief off of his heart, and yet you cannot buy anything with grief, because grief is worthless. Because you continue to deny the reality of the world you're in. Here we go. You are at the understanding that life is not going to take you back. You are at the world you have created. And when you cease to exist, this world you have created will also cease to exist. Meaning everything disappears when you die. This is all gone. All these people, everything around you is gone. But for those with the understanding that they are living the last days of the world, death acquires a different meaning. The extinction of all reality is a concept no resignation can encompass, and yet, in that despair, which is transcendent, you will find the ancient understanding that the philosopher's stone will always be found, despised, and buried in the mud. This may seem a small thing in the face of annihilation until annihilation occurs. And then all the grand designs and all the grand plans will finally be exposed and revealed for what they are. So what he's saying is, at the end he's saying, when you die, it'll all make sense. The whole reason for why the world is what it is, and all that will make sense. Earlier he said, reflective men often find themselves at a place removed from the realities of life, because a lot of people spend too much time really trying to figure this shit out and justifying certain things, rather than accepting the fact that there's certain choices that were made that created this reality, that created this life. He says, and when you cease to exist, this world that you have created will also cease to exist. The last thing I'll share is, he says, and I think this is very important, the extinction of reality is a concept no resignation can encompass, and yet, in that despair, which is transcendent, you will find the ancient understanding that the philosopher's stone will always be found, despised, and buried. What does that mean? That people will have a hard time facing that truth. The philosopher's stone will be found, meaning the truth will, the realization of the truth with you as the creator will be found. It will be despised. The same way Neo despised when the Oracle said, you've already made the choice, you're here to understand it. He said, no, I can't do that. And then buried in the mud. Meaning people will try to live outside of the reality that they've created for themselves. So, you know, I know it's a lot that I read, but the bottom line is, I want you all to understand clearly what the deal is. You know, you can spend a lot of time talking about elections and world hunger and unfair this and that kind of stuff, and that's fine. If you want to fix it, you can, because it's your world, you created it. So the only person that can fix it's going to be you. The same thing with what's going on in your life. If there's anything happen in your life that you know you can fix it, you can create it, because why? You created it in the beginning to begin with. You incarnated into it. We're in the ever-present now. This is where we are. This is where we've incarnated. This is our reality. This is our creation. We chose to be here. We chose to create this reality. So don't ever look outside of yourself. There is no politician. There is no hero. There is no savior. There is no nothing coming to save anybody or change anything. If somebody does, it's because you attracted that reality into your reality. There's a philosopher who just died about 10, 15 years ago. His name was Joseph Campbell. He did a series with Bill Moyers at George Lucas's estate, the founder of Star Wars. George Lucas is very metaphysical. There's a lot of people in Hollywood who are very metaphysical. But Bill Moyers, he wrote a book about talking about the hero's journey. And what Bill Moyers was trying to let people know is that you are the hero. So you can read about other people doing great things, but those stories that you're reading and hearing about are really meant to invigorate you and encourage you to be the hero in your life. You know, there is no, these people are heroes. Some of these people are heroes. Some of these people are geniuses. Some of these people are magnificent. But they don't exist. They're here to show you the way. Last statement is from the same movie. It's from a different character, Brad Pitt's character. He was in on a drug deal. And I'll close with this. He said, if you think you can live in this world that you created, if you think you can live in this world and not be a part of it, you're wrong. It's not that you're going down, counselor. It's what you're taking down with you. Right. So he's letting the counselor know that everything happening in the world, you're a part of. Why? Because you created it. It's your world. Some people think they can live in this world and not be a part of, and like detach themselves from it. There are a lot of people who deal with a lot of stress and anxiety and end up on a lot of, psychological medications and things like that, or people who try to escape the reality they've created for themselves. A lot of the illnesses and diseases and health conditions people find themselves in are a result of them trying to mentally escape the reality that they are in a world that they've created. And like Jefe said, that the world you imagine for yourself is different than the world that you've created through your choices that you currently find yourself in. Those are two different worlds. You said there is no other world. There's not some other world. It's only your world. You said this is not a hiatus. There's no hiatus. There's no vacation. There's no escaping. Everywhere you go, it's you. And everything around you is a reflection of you. If you think you can live in this world and not be a part of it, you're wrong. I had this thought, you know. I've had thoughts over probably about 10, 15 years about being a citizen of the United States of America, right? And I'm like, man, there's a lot of bombing and drone strikes and war, and we're just fucking with everybody, right? And a lot of people who live in this country, they like to turn away from the realities of what our military and government and corporations are responsible for. Child forced labor. We got people digging in mud holes. You know, unsafe conditions for like $2 an hour. Just crazy shit, right? So I was like, man, I'm a citizen of the United States. And let's say that another country rises up who really holds America in contempt for the way we treated the world. And I was thinking, like, how would those people really view me? Do we feel that they would come over here and say, oh no, Rakhem, you know, you're good. You're completely exempt from all the bullshit, you know what I'm saying, that this country has been a part of for the past 400 years. And my ego would like to believe that because, yeah, like I'm an African American or I have some Native American blood. Like I'm part victim of this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like my ancestors were enslaved. But they walk in my house right now, they see a brand new car in their driveway, they see the Xbox, the 55-inch TV, 3-4 pairs of sneakers in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm obviously living off of I'm benefiting from these acts. And so I brought myself, I'm not, you know, I'm not judging myself or acting like I know anything, because I don't. But I said, man, if a motherfucker came over here from another country and they took over America, I mean, I can't be mad at them if they're gonna fucking slaughter a bunch of us and say, well, look, at the end of the day, you are a part of the system. Rakhem, you are a part of the system. You know, if they bomb, if they're attacking America and they're bombing, like we bomb villages in other countries in the Middle East, if they bomb Asheville and shit like that, like, can I really be mad at that shit? Like, it's not fair. We're citizens. There's no military here. They'd be like, motherfucker, we don't give a fuck. You are a part of the system. So even though you might not be explicitly guilty of anything, you're indirectly supportive. There's only a very few number of people who are really say fuck it. They give up citizenship. They move out of this motherfucker. They are in constant battle with the government to change policy or whatever it is, right? So I'm just saying to say, like, you know, I take responsibility for this reality. Not just being a citizen of this country, but just of the world. Like, this is my world. This is my earth, my planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. And so sometimes it's hard to be in that place because I would want to feel that I'm an innocent bystander in some cases, or certain things are outside of my power of control. But the truth is that's not the truth. The truth is, it is my reality, and it all starts from within. And so if I don't like the reflection, if I'm being shown something, grotesque or unfair, then I can start to make the changes within to address that. And I can do the outward work to address it as well. I can use force and power. The power addresses within, the force addresses without. So that was it. Wanted to share that. Thank you guys so much for joining.